This is Mr. Anderson from Kellogg Community College for Math 121, and we're going to do Chapter 2, Section 4, another look at linear graphs. We're going to start out by using the slope equation, and the slope equation, as a reminder, is y minus y over x minus x to find the slope of the line containing them. Use reduced improper fractions or integers only, no graphing or show work. So here I'm going to take my y values and subtract them, 1 minus 1, and set that over my x values, and I'm going to choose to go, since I went from left to right, I'm going to go left to right here, 3 minus negative 2, which I can swipe, because two negatives, subtracting a negative is like adding a positive, and this will give me 0 divided by 5, and 0 divided by any number is 0. And if I plot those points, 3, 1, and negative 2, 1, that gives me a straight line. And that straight line, even though I'm having trouble drawing it straight, has a 0 slope. This is 0 slope. And a 0 slope is a horizontal line from left to right. And now by contrast, let's look at these 2 points. If I try to do the slope of these 2 points using the equation y minus y over x minus x, I'm going to get a much different result. If I go negative 1 minus 2, taking left to right as I chose, and then down below I'm going to go 4 minus 4, I get an answer of negative 3 divided by 0. If I chose the other 2 points, I would have gotten a positive 3 over 0, but this, any number divided by 0, is undefined. Undefined slope is different than 0 slope, because if I plot these points at 4, negative 1 and 4, 2, I now have a vertical line, and this vertical line has an undefined slope. Vertical lines are not functions, because it breaks the vertical line test. Horizontal lines are functions. But let's move down, which is going to kind of move all these graphics here. So pause the video if you need to copy anything down. And we're going to move down to the bottom here, and we'll talk about horizontal lines versus vertical lines and all that other stuff. So let's go put the screen drawback here. A horizontal line, first of all, just to remind us, since we can't see the picture up there, horizontal lines are straight lines like that. And a slope of a horizontal line is going to be 0. The equation is going to be y equals whatever our height was of that equation. So if you look where your y-intercept is, and that is going to be your equation. In our last problem up there, we can scroll back up and see that that problem intersected at 1. So if I move back down here again, my horizontal line, again, straight line like this. My slope was 0. My equation is going to be y equals 1. Now, my function of that line is going to be, yeah, this is definitely a function because it passes the vertical line test. Now, vertical lines, look like this. They also have a slope that's undefined, so m is undefined. And the equation is going to be x equals wherever crosses the x-axis. And on the problem that we just looked at up there, x is equal to 4. Is it a function? No, because it fails the vertical line test. Now, I'm going to show you, if you have a graphing calculator, because you'll notice that at the bottom of this worksheet here, I have the same question that I had on the previous worksheet, to use the slope equation above to find the line containing them. Use reduced or improper fractions and integers only. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use my graphing calculator tool, and this will show you how to find, using the stats on your calculator, how to find slope of the problem. Now, let's first of all make sure that we have our y equals cleared out. So click the y equals and clear that out. You can also make sure that your calculator is in a clear state by clicking zoom 6. So there's nothing in the graph here. Alright, now instead of going y minus y and x minus x, I want to show you a little trick on the calculator. Click the Stat button, and by clicking the Stat button, what we can do is we can use points to find the slope and the y-intercept. Now you click the Stat button once, and then you're going to have to hit Enter. Now, your screen might have some points in there, so if you see anything in these lists, go all the way up to the very top, make sure that is dark there, and hit Clear, then Enter. Once you hit Clear, then Enter, you will get that erased, and you can now type these in. Now you'll notice that the point is 2 and 9. So I'm going to hit 2, Enter, and then move my arrow key to the right and hit 9, and then Enter. Now this is plugged my first point into the problem. Click on the left arrow key, and then you'll notice that you can type in 12, Enter, and then click the right arrow key and click 4 and then Enter. Now I've entered in two coordinates, 2, 9 and 12, 4. What I can use is the regression line part of this calculator to get a slope and a y-intercept from these 2 points. Click the Stat button, click the right button, and then scroll down to number 4, which is the linear regression. If you click this, on some of the newer calculators it comes up with a different screen that looks like this, and it will say Calculate in the middle here. You'll scroll down and press the Calculate button, and that will do the same thing as pressing Enter. Now what this tells me is that my slope is the number before the x, so my slope is going to be negative 1/2. And my b value is going to be 10, which is my y-intercept. These R values exist if you ran this in a statistics class. So that is a quick and easy way. Instead of going y minus y over x minus x, it's a way to have the calculator find the slope for you. Just make sure you convert this back into negative 1/2 for your answer here. Now, for this other problem, I can show you how to quickly type these in and do your graphing calculator work. Click the Stat button, click Enter, and we need to clear these lists, so go to the very top, hit Clear and Enter. Go to the very top here, hit Clear, then Enter, and then type this in. -5, Enter, move to the right, -11, Enter. Now you've typed in the first point. Scroll to the left here, and then go -8, Enter, and -21, Enter. Now the shortcut is Stat, move to the right, click the 4 button, and then hit Enter again. Again, if you have a newer calculator, you might notice that you'll have to scroll down to where it says Calculate in the middle of the screen and hit Enter. Now you'll see that the slope is 3 1/3, or 10/3. We should try to write that as an improper fraction. And the y-intercept is 5 2/3. The y-intercept isn't as critical to write as an improper fraction. So make sure when you write your answers, use improper fractions for slope, and then a non-decimal for the non-slope. And if you need help converting decimals to fractions, please see me and I can give you some one-on-one assistance there. Alright, so let's put this away and let's get to some more work here. We are now going to look at finding intercepts. And we're going to find intercepts and we're going to graph these on the graph below. Now, to find the intercepts, we are going to use a method that I call the table method. And the table method's really nice because what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a table, like so. And I'm going to put a 0 in for x to figure out my y value. Now this is to figure out the y-intercept. So if I take my equation, which is y equals 3x plus 6, written as f of x, I'm now going to plug a 0 in for x. So I'm going to go y equals 3 times 0 plus 6. Now 3 times 0 is 0. So I get an answer that simplifies to 0 plus 6, y equals 6. So I can come back over here and fill that into my table. So my y-intercept is 0, 6. Now I'm going to go to my x-intercept, where I'm going to plug in a 0 for y. So now I have 0 is equal to 3x plus 6. Now my job is to get the x all by itself. So I'm going to subtract the 6 from both sides using my inverse operations. Draw my line there to show you that it's moving across the line. That simplifies. Negative 6 is equal to 3x. Divide both sides by 3. So x is going to be equal to negative 2. So my x-intercept, as I plug my negative 2 in there, negative 2 comma 0 is my first x and y intercept. So my x-intercept is negative 2, 0. My y-intercept is 0, 6. I'm now going to scroll down and graph these. That's going to delete this from the screen here, but it will zoom in on what we are going to do. Negative 2 comma 0 is my x-intercept. So my x-intercept dot will go at negative 2 comma 0 right there. There's my x-intercept. And 0 comma 6 is 0 and 6 up is right there. And then I can take a straight line and draw between the two dots. Alright, so that's the first problem of 5. Let's do the second problem. The second problem, let me put that at the top of the screen and change the color. We're going to make this, let's make this a little cyan. Alright, for the same reason we are going to do my table and we're going to plug 0 in for x to find my y-intercept and a 0 in for my y to find my x-intercept. So over here, I'm going to go 3 times 0 minus 2 times y is equal to 18. Now, when the equation's in standard form like this, things get actually a lot easier, because 3 times 0 just becomes 0, minus 2y equals 18. The 0 simplifies to just negative 2y equals 18, and we're going to divide both sides by negative 2. The negative 2's simplify, so y is equal to 18 divided by negative 2. Y is equal to negative 9. So my y-intercept is 0 comma negative 9. Alright, now we're going to take a look at my x-intercept. By plugging 0 in for my y, we can find my x-intercept. 3x minus 2 times 0 equals 18. This simplifies to 0, so it's just 3x is equal to 18. Divide both sides by 3. X is equal to 6. So my x-intercept is 6 comma 0. So the 6 goes here. So now I'm going to plot the points. My x-intercept, which is 6 comma 0, and my y-intercept, which is 0 comma negative 9. Now when I move down the screen, this is all going to disappear, so pause the video if you rewind if you need to go see that. And now we're going to color with the pen. Our first dot is going to be 6 comma 0 all the way over here. And our second dot is going to be the y-intercept 0 comma negative 9. And there's my line. 2 of 5. Alright, let's go do the third problem. It would be nice if you wanted to take a try and do it yourself and then watch the video later if you have questions. And let's change this to, let's see here, let's go to green. So I've got my equation, which is y equals, written as g of x, y is equal to 2x minus 9. I'm going to make my table, 0 and 0, plug my 0 in for x, and in doing so I'm going to go to my, this will solve my y-intercept, so y is equal to 2 times 0 minus 9. And this is the easy one to find because 2 times 0 makes 0, so y is equal to 0 minus 9, which is negative 9. So my y-intercept is, again, 0 comma negative 9. Now I'm going to find my x-intercept by plugging 0 in for y. So in my equation where my y is, I'm going to put my 0. So 0 is equal to 2x minus 9. I'm going to add 9 to both sides. So I get 9 is equal to 2x, divide both sides by 2. So x is equal to 4.5 or 9/2. Now 4.5 is acceptable as a point because that's what we're going to have to find on our graph. So my x-intercept is 4.5, comma 0, and my y-intercept is 0, negative 9. Let's scroll down and plot these points, which again will erase everything. But we can then see it right here on the screen. So My x-intercept is 4.5 comma 0, so that puts it right over here. And 0 comma negative 9 is my other point. So I'm going to draw my line like so. Now, let's go to line number 4. Line number 4. Okay, the first thing about problem 4 I should point out is that we're going to change it because this is going to be a y. There's a little typo there on the worksheet. So what I'm going to do is take my table, plug 0 in for my x to find my y-intercept, and plug my 0 in for my y to find the x-intercept. So what I'm going to do is take my equation and plug my 0 in for x, minus 3y equals negative 12, which makes negative 3y equals negative 12. Divide both sides by negative 3. Y is equal to 4. So my y-intercept is 0 comma 4, which puts the dot right there. Now I'm going to plug my 0 in for my y to find my x-intercept. All right. Now, negative 3 times 0 is 0. That simplifies to 0. 4x is equal to negative 12. Divide both sides by 4. X is equal to negative 3, which is going to go right here. And so my line for problem number 4 is right there. Now what's going to make this problem 5 a little bit tricky is watch what happens when I try to, with black ink here, watch what's going to happen when I try to use the intercept technique. If I use the intercept technique, I'm going to put a 0 in for my x and a 0 in for my y, something weird is going to happen. Because I'm going to have 2 times 0, now this is for the y-intercept, but you're going to see why this is going to be weird here, minus 3y equals 0. Now that turns into 0. Negative 3y equals 0, dividing both sides by negative 3. And we just learned on the previous side, 0 divided by negative 3 is 0. So y is equal to 0. So there's my point, right there in the middle, 0, 0. Now if I try to plug my 0 in for the y, notice I got 2x minus 3 times 0 equals 0. So 2x is equal to 0. Divide both sides by 2, and as we learned on the previous side, 0 divided by anything is 0. Uh-oh. I now have a point right there, and I don't know how to find another point to get a straight line. Well, there's where we just have to pick a point, and you can put a number in either of these places, and I'm going to choose to put, just because the next number above 0 is 1, I'm going to choose 1, and I'll plug that in for my x. So here we go. I'm going to go 2 times 1 minus 3y equals 0. So 2 times 1 is 2, minus 3y equals 0. I'm going to subtract the 2 from both sides to get y all by itself. So negative 3y is equal to negative 2. Divide both sides by negative 3. And now I have y is equal to, at that one location, positive 2/3. Because negative 2 divided by negative 3 is positive 2/3. So what do I do with this 1 and 2/3? I'm going to come over to my 1 and move up 2/3, about right there. And there I have my line. You can try another point to see if it'll intersect this straight line, but you'll see that it works. All right, thanks for sticking with the video here, and email me if you have any questions.